Hello, welcome back, everybody, to another year of the Sunday Podcast.
I'm Ollie Lum.
And I'm Matt Seddon.
Back in 2025 for our 5th season. You can expect more of this.
He's claiming that he was ill before the semi-final, whatever. But, you know, I just feel like at that point he was just looking for attention.
And some of this.
Elio normally say, no human is limited. So I can't limit myself, or I can't just say I can do.
As well as event coverage around all the major races on the UK circuit.
And if you're a fan of the pod, please give us a rating and review on your preferred podcast streaming service.
And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news, give us a follow on Instagram at Sunday Podcast.
As always, thanks for listening. See you next time. And we hope you enjoyed the episode.
Hello, welcome back. As always, this episode is brought to you by sportshoes.com. What a weekend of athletics we've had, mate. Obviously, British champs feels like it was only yesterday, but look, everyone's been to Belgium. They've either run their times or they haven't. And man, I thought we better wrap up all the interesting results.
Mate, opportunities don't get much bigger, do they, than Belgium? It delivered. I mean, that is the outdoor equivalent of Boston. Some incredible times went down, some incredible races. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, I think, World Athletics a few years ago decided to bring in this ranking system, and they wanted to have this qualification system that incentivized meaningful races and focused on positions and, tried to prioritize that over time trialing. But since the world rankings have come in, since those standards have been raised, time trialing is all anyone wants to do. And it's all any meet wants to do as well. You look at these meets and they're all designed to time trial the hell out of it. That was Belgium in a nutshell. I mean, and because of that, we had Brits who ran fast. But the men's 5K was staggering. 32 men broke 13:15 across 2 heats, by the way. The second heat, which is where the Brits were, unfortunately, we had no Brits in heat 1. The second heat where the Brits were, Alex Yee gets 4th in 13:13, Charlie Wheeler 13:14, Jack Rowe 13:14, and Andy Bouchard was a bit further back. He was actually pretty much at the back, but still 13:37 for a man who hasn't been on the track in a long time. So it's just good to see him back racing. But I mean, as incredible as those times are, and 13 teens is brilliant. And the fact that Yee's down there and Wheeler's down there is great to see him like improve on his PB, because we saw him at the British champs, and again, like Rowe getting back on the track as well. I can't help but think these guys, obviously Wheeler was at British champs, but Bouchard as well, Yee, Bouchard and Rowe, like, why aren't they racing Josh Kerr at the British champs the week before? Just go up against that man, see if you can give him a run. Because they could have, with a 13:15 runner, 13:10 runner, they're clearly in great shape. They probably could have challenged that British champs and actually given Kerr a run for his money. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a jog fest, and Kerr ran a 4:06, 4:07 last mile. I think, Yee, Rowe would hope to be able to live with that, a little bit more. And, obviously Leonard put in that split. So, I think, you're a little bit like, it's a shame they don't value. And the thing is, it all comes down to one, they don't believe they're going to go to the World Championships. The qualifying route to the World Championships was, I think, for someone like Alex Yee and Jack Rowe, was just never going to happen in the 5,000. So why would they bother with the British champs? Which is fair enough. All they wanted was a hard run out over 5K this year. Yee has his other things going on. Rowe has obviously moved up to the roads now, so they just wanted to see how they can move over 5K in the summer, which is fair enough. But it's a shame.
Yeah, it is. And I think the issue is it works both ways, because you either have the scenario we've had where people don't have the standard, so they don't see the point in going to British champs, or the other way around, and we see people have the standard, but knowing that no one else has it, don't even have to go anyway. So it's always a lose-lose. Someone like Rowe, right, could have gone and got the standard this year, and then not even turned up to British champs, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, this is why I've got to give credit to someone like Josh Kerr, because he turned up to the British champs, and he could have easily not done the 15, could have passed on the champs altogether probably, but he turned up and he ran the 5K, and he could have gone to Belgium this week and drilled a 13:0 or something like that, and we could have seen what he's really capable of. But incredible runs. I mean, Brits were on form, and good run, particularly from Wheeler doubling back after British champs. That's not easy. So I think, when you look at that, and he's 13:14 PB, had he not had British champs in his legs, could he gone a touch quicker? It's exciting for him next year.
It is, and I hope he sticks at it rather than moving up to the roads. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Jack Rowe do it, but I think if we have some of these guys, if they just stick at it for a few years and really try and get that 5K down, like even like not trying to move to the 10K and things like that. I think that's where, in many ways, because this 10K standard's so hard, that's almost even less of an incentive to move up to the 10. But I think, I'd just like to see him just keep cracking away at that 5K, and see how low they can go. We got to shout out Nick Griggs, obviously the Irishman in Heat 1 as well, 13:05. It's a great run from him. Obviously previous guest on the pod as well. So good to see him chipping away, still in under 23, which is just ridiculous.
It is a joke. Yeah. And the thing is, the 5, like, it's doable. 42 can go to the Worlds, but the problem is now it's getting so bloody deep that you actually do have to hit the standard. I mean, when you go through the road to Tokyo, just doing the math, Jesus Christ, 30 men are sub 13 minutes already, let alone all the blokes on 13 minutes. So actually there's only 10 spots up for grabs for world ranking, and the points that you need to go, it's extremely difficult. You've got Laros sitting in 37th on the road to Tokyo over the 5,000. He's on 1,232 points. Nordas is on 1,249 points. John Heyman's made the Olympic final over 5,000, for goodness sakes. And, that is one of his marks. Obviously they take the average of 3 5Ks. And so, and John Heyman's won a gold label event as well, so he got 100 extra points on his place score. So basically it's just for a Brit right now, it's not going to be possible over the next 2 or 3 years to go on world ranking points. I would have thought so.
And just comes down to getting in the races, right? That's the difference, because I know you're saying obviously Oordegem, the Belgium meet the weekend is maybe a rival of an outdoor, or an outdoor rival of Boston, but I still think if you put some of these guys in a top race, they run 5-10 seconds quicker over 5,000 meters, or maybe not necessarily a quicker race, but just the right race where there's not so many guys and things like that. So I just think that's the problem with the times being so quick, is that it just favors people who can get themselves in the best races. Yeah,
but then not only that, but then the world rankings favor people who can get in the best races. Because, for example, Brian Fay managed to get himself in a gold label 3,000, gets second in 741, gets 80 bonus points, 80 place score bonus points on top of that. So, if you run a 741, you get, high 1100s, and then you get 80 bonus points, and it puts him actually on 40th on the rankings quota. So hopefully he can stay there and he can qualify, but everything will change. Yeah, he might not now, because everything's going to change. The new quota will be updated on Wednesday. And so I'm sure there's some new faces who hadn't run. Yeah. Like you've even got like Justin Knight and people like that. So yeah, it's crazy. I think basically what we're trying to say, mate, or what I'm trying to say is I think the system's broken when it comes to this qualification for the Worlds. The world rankings just, for me, they just don't work. And they either remove a standard and just have world ranking, and they try and even out these place scores a little bit, because it's like the rich get richer. You finish 8th in a Diamond League, or wherever in a Diamond League, you get points. Where if you're in a Diamond League, chances are you're already running the standard. And so it's really hard for those on the cusp to actually get in the correct label race in order to get some place points, basically. So potentially they make the standard softer. Tricky one. But I fear, because, we'll get into it again in a bit, but World Championships of 2027, what are we looking at? When 30 men have already run inside 13 minutes?
It'll be 12:58 at least.
Are we just going to be taking it down and down? But what's interesting, me and you are having this conversation, is like the depth is getting greater and greater, but at the front, we're still not seeing, they are always running 12:40, 12:38, 12:40, year after year, but they've been doing that since Farah was competing. They've been doing that for years, but it's not getting any faster. Same in the 1500, that everyone's now running 3:30, 3:29, but we're not seeing 3:26, 3:20, we're not seeing the world record on that front end, and the 800 the same. So I know it's only a matter of time, but I think just a lot of people are catching up to the guys at the top. And you made an interesting point about recovery.
Yeah, I just think and I don't want to bang on about the shoes. I think the shoes just give a greater number of people the tools to recover and train harder. Whereas back in the day, like you mentioned, someone like Farah, only him and that group at NOP were, like, say what you want about NOP, right? But only him and that group would go into like those extreme lengths in terms of recovery, whether it be underwater treadmills, whether it be the best S&C, whatever it is. And I think things like the carbon shoes, and we said it's not for racing, but in terms of the training effect and the ability to do these double thresholds, these big, fast, long runs, whatever it is, are kind of opening this up to more and more athletes. But back in the day, I say back in the day, again, 10 years ago, it was just a handful of athletes who were maybe getting through this kind of ridiculous training regime without getting injured. And then they were the ones that were performing at the top. And I think it's just allowing lots of people to perform closer to that top level. But in the same way that I guess people have said, like, training hasn't really changed since the 70s. Like, on the whole, it's just good hard work. And I think for people to really kind of smash some of these barriers because they've got so good and they've got so fast off so much tech, someone's going to need to try something new. Do you know what I mean? Someone's needs to get ahead of the science, because the science, physiology wise, is studying the best athletes in the world to work out the best way to train. It's not really doing anything different. And in order for people to then make these massive jumps, they're going to need to go against the science in a way and just test themselves and see, I don't know, can I run whatever it is? I don't know the answer, right? Otherwise people will be doing it, but they need to try something completely different, because otherwise you're going to come up with similar results. You're never going to smash the world record in 10 seconds with doing what people have done for the last 60 years.
You're bang on, right? I mean, those guys in the 5K were in Heat 2, and I think they still finished, I think overall there was 28th or something, which is crazy, you know, and that's one 5K race in Belgium. I mean, there was a 3K that Algrim won in 7:31 where a load of guys ran fast. You know, there was a lot more people running that weekend all over the world. And so you're right, you know, everyone's getting to an incredibly high level, but what's separating them, what's going to give them the edge, what's going to allow them to sort of qualify for these championships, for the final at least. So there we go.
We speak to a lot of athletes, mate, and they always say there's no secret, it's just consistency, but
which it is.
That will probably get you to an elite level, right? But I do think that actually for someone to go and smash a world record, there needs to be some sort of secret. They actually need to do something completely different.
Yeah.
Because if you're backing consistency, you're basically saying that as an athlete, the athlete's basically saying, well, I'm better than everyone else that's come for the past 60, 70 years because I've done nothing special. I've just been consistent. So I'm just better myself. And I think to say that is a bit disrespectful to the athletes that have come in the past.
Yeah. I think talent plays less of a factor these days as well. Like, you know, you used to have to, well, I think when you look at the guys who would like break world records and stuff like that, they clearly were just genetically so gifted. Whereas I think that genetics plays less of a factor these days. And I think a lot of that is just down, like you said, just down to science that's already there. It's down to the super shoes. It's down to the bicarb. Like that's now a system that, you know, I'd love a study to sort of come out, which tries to break down and highlight how much that is affecting performance and how little you then have to train that system as like a trade-off. Because do you even, you know, I always think, do you really even have to train that system anymore? If you're relying on something which is going to buffer you. I mean, the best in the world are now taking Nomeo shots, which is broccoli juice basically. And they're taking that on a regular basis, you know, 3 or 4 days a week. And that limits your, well, again, it's a little bit like bicarb, just buffers your lactate. And so it's crazy. And I think with all these things, you know, you mentioned perhaps once upon a time, only the very, very best in the world.
That's it. I think that's what it is, mate. It's just so much more accessible. Like, look, Matt Seddon's talking about it on a podcast. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when Mo
we
Farah,
wouldn't know about it.
Yeah. No one's talking about it, and there's no one's posting it on Instagram. There's no there's nowhere to buy these things off the shelf. They were all things done by athletes who had their own personal private doctors who are like prescribing these things or coming up with these things. And whereas now, and it's good, that is a good thing, right? That everyone can do it without having like ridiculous backing. But I think, in order to see the top end shift, something else has got to change. But mate, let's get back into some of these results.
Yeah,
obviously, we mentioned all good. We mentioned the men's 5, the women's 5, some good results as well. India Weir 15:01. After that great run last weekend, Alex Millard 15:02, Georgie Grech 15:03, and Carrie Hughes 15:05. Back off that steeplechase. So the 15:05 5K for what we presume now is going to be a steeplechaser, that's a serious time.
Yeah, maybe she's just going to dabble with both a little bit and just sort of trade off. And I think she's in an awesome position now, Hughes, because over the next 12 months going into the European Championship, she can basically go, right, well, I'll have a crack at a steeple, I'll have a crack at a 5K. Her training won't change too much between the two events. And then she'll decide where she's at, what her best option is going into the European Championships, I think. And then off the back of that, then obviously you then target 2027 and 2028, and she'll hopefully start to lock down. It might be that she just continues to progress. I mean, she'd struggle with injuries, and it looks like this year she is starting to, all that training that she's done over the last 12 months is starting to pay off now. And, you know, we know who she coached by. Look at George Mills and the success he's had with sort of 2 or 3 years of 5K work and double thresholds. And, you know, if Hughes can actually string 24 months together and beyond, she could well be one of our best 5K runners anyway. So I don't know if it's full commitment from her for the steeple yet, but I think we're going to see her do both over the next year or two, and then she'll start to lock in what she wants to target for 27 and 28. But yeah, huge from Weir. I mean, I guess it's so close to sub 15. That would have been nice. But yeah, 15:01. That's about what you'd expect for someone who took down Ines Fitzgerald at the Champs 5K.
I think that's it, mate. And I think it's crazy what confidence can do for you, because in the Weir second fastest time, 15:35. But yeah, like you say, you come second at the British Champs and you think, well, why can't I run 15:0, you know, or I'm sure she believes she could probably break 15 or even get close to the standard, because, and this is the thing, a lot of athletes, we're moaning at the start that athletes aren't going contesting these champs, but the ones who do, more often than not getting some sort of benefit, even if they're not winning or making a team. Someone like India Weir has come away from it and thought, you know what, I can go and chase a time. Whereas maybe she shuts her season down, or maybe she only tries to run sub 15:30 if she doesn't run the British Champs, because she's like, well, that's still going to be the next jump for me. Whereas instead, she has the belief to go and chase it. Yeah, and Millard as well, doubling back after fourth at the British Champs. So all three of them doubling back after last week. Huge running. Again, if they go into that fresh-legged, what could you'd like to think they would have been sub 15. You look at those two Aussies, Lauren Ryan and Mordy Skyring, dipping inside 15, running another 14:50, 14:40 for them. So yeah, great running in that women's 5. Let's go men's steeple, mate. What a result from the broski. It's huge, isn't it? I mean, I think I said on the pod, reviewing it, sort of that these steeple boys were at the end of their careers and kind of paved the way for the new boys. But look, Zach's still showing that you can go and run PBs, despite, I guess, me and you were chatting when he first decided to kind of go into full-time work at the start of the year, that this was almost like taking a step back in a way from the elite end of the sport. But he's gone and taken 5 seconds off what was already a ridiculous steeple PB of 8:20, and so now an 8:15 guy is one of the fastest Brits of all time. 5th fastest all time, fastest since 1992, and I think Mark Rowland was the last guy to run quicker than that. Don't quote me on it, but it's just from a few bits and bobs that I've seen. And I guess, yeah, bittersweet, because a huge run for him, and coming off the back again of British Champs, and not that it came out of nowhere. He has had a really solid 6 months of training, but he wouldn't have been expecting that. And, I guess the bitter part is the fact he missed the standard by 0.6 of a second. Sarah Tait in a women's side, exactly the same scenario. She might be a lot closer on world rankings points, but yeah, unfortunately in the men's, right now, they take 36 to the World Championships, and 34 men have the standard, which is crazy. And a guy who doesn't have the standards on 1265, he's the African champion, Ugandan Leonard Chimutai, and he's on 1265 points. So it's probably not going to go, well, definitely not going to go to Worlds, which is, a real shame. And there is a bunch of guys who were in that race on the weekend in Belgium who ran some incredible times, 8:15, 8:16, that sort of region. And they're not going to be in the World Championships. It's a shame, isn't it? Because he's inside the consideration standard. Is that right as well? Yeah, obviously the BA consideration standards actually are they're not worth anything in the distance races. Yeah, because there's no space. Because there's no space. Because either everyone's hit the standard, or the ranking points are extremely high, that basically the equivalent of getting those ranking points, you'd have to have probably made Olympic final or something that previous year in order to go towards your points. So yeah, those consideration standards aren't doing much for
for our distance runners, unfortunately. But yeah, I think for my brother, it's been so interesting watching him the last 12 months. He's just been, mate, just purely going back to basics. Like, this was a guy who, yeah, like he even said last week, right? He was just fried mentally, just tired of just chasing. You put so much pressure on yourself. You know, you try and justify all those hard decisions, and came away working full time, just went back to having fun with it. Got back down the club, basically all winter, just went to the club twice a week, did a session, 6 bar mile, 8 bar mile, 2400s, whatever. Did have a bit of time off in January with a bit of a niggle and illness. They started getting back into it because I wanted him to do
he's self-coaching as well, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, purely self-coaching. But you know, he's not overthinking it too much. Like I said, just 6 to 8 bar miles, something like that, of good tempo running, and yeah, hitting some good fours. You know, good number of 20, 24 fours, K reps, like really very, very simple stuff, like all the basics. And I think one of the reasons he wanted to do that, yes, obviously there's all the science behind double threshold and it works. But yeah, he wasn't doing double threshold. He was just doing 2 kind of thresholdy tempo sessions a week. But you know, another reason was he just didn't want to think too much about his running. Like he was working full time. He had a baby on the way, and he just wanted to just relax. And so he was like, "Well, I know 6 to 8 bar mile is going to get me pretty fit, so I'll just do that." And then what was interesting is when he started going back down the club, there was really no seniors at Bracknell, but then things just started to snowball, and now there's like 5 or 6 of them, and you go down there. I've even gone down there the past few weeks, and
that's the secret then. You
absolutely spanked. But like, they'll be doing mile reps, I'll be doing 400s in and out. Like, my lactate is way high. But no, and I think, you know, just from him going down there, just more and more people have sort of tagged on, and now there's 5 or 6 of them all sort of crushing around doing 450 mile reps and stuff. So it's just good to see, and it's a funny old sport, mate. Like, I think sometimes you just go back to basics, you enjoy it. The enjoyment side is huge. He's having fun with everything. Like, it's just every session, not getting too het up on it, just really enjoying it and laughing and joking, and you go run 8:15.
Yeah.
But that being said,
yeah,
you know, I guess the game continues to move on, and yeah, he was 12th in the race, and yeah, unfortunately, even if you run 8:15.0, you're still ranked 35th in the world right now.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And yeah, obviously, like you say, enjoying it. And you contrast that with the past few years where he's been on camps quite a few times and going full time.
There's been no camps.
And it's not allowed him to improve on that time, on that 8:20 PB from a few years ago. But yeah, mate, I just checked Sarah Tait. She's actually sitting 30th at the moment. So she's in the world rankings quota.
Oh, rankings. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I think obviously she had big run at British Champs. They ran fast at British Champs plus the place score.
And they've got her NCA result is in there as well. That's actually before, it's not updated yet with the new time.
Well, I didn't think it has, but it has, mate.
When I'm clicking on the rankings anyway, it's saying the 3 races aren't in
but the 3 races haven't gone towards her points, but
no.
People who ran the standard in Belgium, they are on the road to Tokyo. So I think, officially, I think everything usually updates on a Wednesday. Tuesday,
so
Wednesday.
Fingers crossed for Sarah Tait, and I think that would be hell of a season, right? To go through all the NCAA stuff and then come back and manage to go to Tokyo would be absolutely huge. Shout out to her.
Just snowballing, strength to strength, right? Absolutely snowballing. So yeah, huge running again off the back of like a hard race at British Champs as well. Like, I think the men, you know, my brother had a little bit of a easier sit and kick. It's a little easier to recover from. Whereas, you know, they got after it at British Champs, and then 6 days later going for it again. So yeah, huge from Tait. Jesus. But so just good to see some big steeple results pushing that up, at least on the men's side. I know Norman's going to try and get one out as well. But I don't think there's any opportunities for anyone to go run another fast 5, fast steeple like that, unless they're in the Diamond Leagues. Obviously, we've got Celestia on the weekend. Mate, 1500 is worth talking about. McCluckey gets second overall, 3:34.5 PB for him. Was he second off the standard now? If he's going to be able to get himself in another race. And I wonder if he's looking at it going, McCluckey's an interesting one because I'm just not convinced he's a 5K runner.
Yeah. I mean,
he's not a 5K runner. He's struggled he may well be in the future, but he's struggled at junior level to run the 5K.
Yeah.
Last year, or last year or the year before, like even at the sort of England champs where you try and
I
qualify
think
for
people
the
just overlook the
Europeans.
15 because we've had so much depth, don't they? They look at it and they think, oh, it's too hard to make the team. Actually, if we had someone kind of there or thereabouts, you've almost got more chance in the 15 at British champs, particularly as normally loads of people are missing, right? So,
Well, the British champs is always tactical. I mean, look at Sam Charrick.
yeah.
So British
what I
champs
mean,
is always
yeah.
tactical. Yeah, McLucky
Even
is
someone like Westy, I look now and I'm like, if he'd stuck to
you just gotta wait for your year,
nail
right?
that standard, right?
You
And
gotta
then,
wait for your year.
yeah.
But the problem is, Westy has been to Europeans and stuff now, whereas I don't think he would have even qualified for Europeans over the 1500. So you do need that senior GB call up, and I think it's difficult. I mean,
McLucky has time, right? He has time.
McLucky has time.
In a
He's
couple of
23.
years, he could be doing what Mills is doing, and over both,
He could be, but I was surprised how much he struggled at champs, and he hasn't run that quick over 5,000. I think his 334 is better. Problem is, McLucky's bloody good at the 3K. He is a little bit like Westy, good at the 3K.
I think that does come with a bit of age, right? There's a reason as juniors we run the 3K and don't start in the 5 till a bit later, because athletes, in a way, it depends how you've been brought up in terms of your training. If you're smashing mileage from a young age, then yeah, it probably makes no difference. But actually, I don't know what McLucky's training was like as a kid. But if you're not, then if you're running good 3Ks, if you do start kind of evolving that training like into the senior years, your 5K time will come.
Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. I do think, once a 1500 runner, not always a 1500 runner, but it is a tough transition. You'll run very fast, but in this day and age, you're now, I think you sometimes forget, like, get down to 13:10, but that's not getting you anywhere. McLucky's got to find 25, 30 seconds on his 5K if he's to make a team. His 1500, he needs to find a second and just needs to figure out how to race. I know which one I'd rather do. Tom Keane, 335. Decent run for him. Was he fourth at British Champs last week? Sam Charrick, unfortunately, a little further down, 341. But again, he's kind of had his two big moments, World Juniors and Champs. And he's had a great year, so I don't think he'll be too fussed with that. McMurray and Callum Elson were in Heat 2. They both ran. McMurray PB 337, Elson 337. So, yeah, strong running from those guys. Women's 1500, you got that to hand, Lum?
Yeah, Sarah Calvert, obviously 404, obviously on the pod yesterday, so go listen to that if you haven't already. Great run from her, obviously not quite the time she needs.
Big PB though. She did.
Yeah,
I remember her saying 404 a couple times in the pod, and I feel like that's probably where she thought her shape was, 402 to 404, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's so weird because I bet she's kind of come away from that thinking, it's a bit of a shame. Whereas a week ago, if she just didn't, say she just came fourth for British Champs, she'd probably be pretty happy with that. Maybe a bit annoyed she didn't medal. And then you go around 404, you're like, that's a really good season. Whereas unfortunately for her, she's probably coming away thinking, that's a bit of a shame. But she should be pleased with that one. And I think it's just a sign of much more to come, because 401.50 is a quick time. When she was coming at it from being 408 girl last weekend, like you said, I don't think you can get too greedy in a way.
No, she's got a couple more lined up, so she's still got time. Window closes.
That's the thing with the 15. You can, like, obviously we're talking about these steeples, we're talking about these 5Ks, and we're like, it's gone. But with the 15, you can just smash a few, and if you get the right one, if you hit the right one, then there's a chance. I wonder if she's gone to uni today. Obviously, she was saying to us she's going to decide.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's gone in, or if she's thinking, you know what, I've just got to lock in for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, window closes on the 24th, 25th, so 4015, is it doable? Again, definitely going to need to lock the standard down, but I think, like, when we spoke to her, just been a huge year. Sometimes whatever you don't do this year, she'll do next year. She'll come out firing again. So, but yeah, that was pretty much Belgium. I mean, Crauken and Botterill ran the 800, and Boffey also ran the 800, 159.53, so close to that world standard 159. Obviously, I was 159.00 anyway, isn't it? Pretty sure. But yeah, good run from Boffey, and yeah, Botterill and Crauken, mate. 145s for the pair of them. Looks like 144 5 might just be a stretch.
Yes, it's a shame. It's a shame, isn't it? I think we said when we reviewed champs that obviously great runs from them at British champs and good to see them right up there. But if you haven't nailed that standard by now, like when you've raced a lot, it's different.
Over
for
2
the
laps,
athlete. Like it's different. But I think when you've run that many 800s already, they're probably just running on fumes as it is at British champs because they've had so much to do and they've been kind of chasing it. And you think, what's it going to take? I don't know if they'd have been better off just actually taking a bit longer after champs and just trying to nail one literally on honestly on like the 23rd, right? Like we said, like try and get one set up.
Yeah.
Like don't bother traveling to Belgium. Try and get one set up at your local track or the quickest track near you in the UK. Get a few guys to pace you and just trying to hit that. And they could have just probably got like 3 big workouts in, off the back of champs instead of going straight out and getting after it.
Yeah.
Tough though. Easy to say that, all right?
It's easy to say that. But no, I'm with you on that. I think they just need this in that time trial setting. Just get on it. Just all you got to do, drop Luke Gunner line. Luke, put on a Wednesday night meet in Birmingham, get your wave lights out.
Yeah, put it on at like 11 p.m. when the wind's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like literally,
let's have six men in the race. Let's go. You just know they'd do it as well, right? They'd probably do it. They could make a real show of it. So anyway, that was pretty much it for Belgium. I mean, it was just a fantastic meet. That track, obviously, it was in the Brussels Diamond League Stadium in May and last year because obviously the track was getting relayed. Now the track has been relayed. That is electric. Next year, they'll do the same format, probably one in May, one in August or whatever. You bet your life it's going to be very, very difficult to get into those meets with everything starting a little bit earlier. And actually, when you look at those races, you can enter for Belgium. You can get into the after program. This meet started at 10 in the morning and finished at gone midnight, which is insane. They started with the hundreds in the morning, progressed all the way to the 5K. And that would have finished just after midnight. So, sorry, my point was you can enter in the after program, but if you want to get into that main program these days, it's getting to the point where you almost need an agent to get you into that race. Yeah. This one, I think you pretty much did need an agent to get into that. Like those
and certainly to get into those
steeples
those A heats as well.
Oh, I mean, you wouldn't get near the A heats if you didn't have an agent, but yeah, unless you were just extremely fast, but even then,
I just think right, and obviously it's kind of come as a bit of a strange one this year in terms of like we used to have it with the London Diamond League post champs and people given a chance to run. I just think if this sort of thing happens again where we've got British champs and then a bit of a window, as a nation we need to like put something on at Watford or wherever it is and literally have a meet that is just for people trying to run the standards. So people in those qualifying windows that can do it. Like we need to just set up a meet and be like, right, what's the quickest track we have in the UK that we can like reasonably access or whatever it is. Might be different for different events. Work out the timing and be like, okay, we're gonna save it for just before the window closes so people have a chance to recover from champs and just set the races up for those standards and purely for those 1 or 2 people in each of the events that might need it.
You could argue that is the role of the two-team record-breaking meeting on the 20th of August in just a little over a week's time, because that is an opportunity for people to go get that 1500 standard, that 800 standard. We spoke about Botterill and Crauken. Potentially, I haven't seen the entries yet, but they could well be lining up for that meet. I'll presume they probably are. I know a lot of people are lining up for that meet. So they could get it there. But again, those fields with the demand of that meeting are going to be stacked. There's just going to be so many bodies.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I think they've got to really key it for the athletes it is. And actually, okay, fine. We'll put 4 pacers in and just the guys trying to run this time in the A race.
Yeah. Mark Hookway did this a while ago. Coming out of cut was it 2019? I think Hookway did it in 2019. For the world champs.
Yeah. But take like obviously Zach and if Phil Norman wants to get after.
To be fair, I think the 8:15 you can chase, but steeple on 5. Look, you're not going to run faster than what you ran in Belgium, are you? It's like expecting to run quicker than your 5K time from Boston. I just don't think it's going to happen. Coming back from Boston 5K going, I'll attack that BMC. It's not going to happen, is it? Yeah, I mean, anyway, mate, should we quickly preview the Diamond League, Celestia Diamond League this Saturday? There's also the Gold Label Budapest World Tour meet tomorrow night as well, which I think Ben Patterson's doing the 800 there, so keep an eye on that. There are a few others in there. I haven't studied the start list too much, but the Diamond League is the one to watch Saturday, as well as a meeting I'm commentating on in Bern, the Sidious meeting. I can't get hold of the fields just yet, but again, there were whispers of a lot of
You're
Brits
commentating,
online.
you can't get hold of the fields.
Mate, at this stage in the season, there's so many changes. I don't want the start list yet because they'd probably change every day now until Friday night. So, yeah, I tend to leave it as late as possible before I start my research because there's nothing worse than researching athletes and then them not turning up, new people being added into the race. So anyway, men's 1500, Neil Gorley, 2 Kenyans, the 2 Chariots, Renault Chariot and Timothy Chariot. There you go. I'm interested to see how Renault Chariot rolls. Laros is in there, Nielsen.
Smash this one.
Wakali's in there to get his legs a little spin out before the steeple for the world champs. Cam Myers, Laros,
Mate, we got to talk about Nagoose, right, don't we? Nagoose.
Nagoose winning in Brussels. I mean, it's ambitious. You've got to go for it if you're Nagoose. But, I think coming 5th at US champs, that Diamond League final is going to be harder than the US champs final. And
Is it though? Is it when it's going to...
What?
Just because I just don't know how much people are going to buy into it. I mean, normally Diamond League final, yeah, the standard's going to be really high, but are people going to really commit to a Diamond League final that's pre the world champs? That's my question. On paper, maybe. Well, on paper, definitely it's a harder race. But what I'm saying is, if you're an athlete, are you really going to go want to drill the Diamond League final when you've got, you're going to taper for that when you've got world champs around the corner? Because how annoyed would you be if you tapered for the Diamond League final, unless you're Nagoose, right, who's not in the world champs, and you nail it, and then you bomb out the semi?
That probably happen to, that would probably happen to a few men for sure.
Yeah, and that's it. But
but what I'm saying is, I think there'll be a lot of people who will be for example, Hobbs Kessler will try and I don't know what the points are, to be fair, but someone like that could be in the Diamond League final. He beat Nagoose. So he's got 0 to lose.
But he's backing himself against Tesla. I'm not saying he should, but he will be, so.
You are right, though. I'm going to be intrigued to see. I can't imagine.
It could be a really weird Diamond League final.
Well, like I said, I would be surprised if Cole Hawker lines up for the Diamond League final.
Yeah. I think it's a strange move for any athletes who line up, really. The ones who are trying to win the world champs and you're lining up, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you don't want to race. You don't want to go up against the guys that you're trying to beat at Worlds.
Yeah. The only ones is people maybe like Keeley who actually need the races.
And
people who've had a season already,
But anyway, Nordas is in there. I think I mentioned Myers already. Kipsang and Layout. So very strong. Josh Huey's in there as well. He'll probably beat Nagoose in the Diamond League final. 1500 women's. Georgia Bell, Nikki Hiltz, Sarah Healy, Hylam, Lyndon Hall, Hiley, Gilmo, Chebet. Do you see the announcement? Kip Yegon saying she doesn't know when she's going to move to the roads, but it will be soon. Could this be her last year? Next year's an off year. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's Kip Yegon's last year on the track. I'd probably put a bet on it if such bets existed. So women's 15 is stacked to get. Huh?
You could request a bet, couldn't you?
Request a bet. A marathon debut at the end of 2026. I could see it now.
See Hassan v Kip Yegon in LA in the marathon.
Well, I think Kip Yegon might. I think she'll probably fancy the marathon in LA.
I think so. And what else has she got to win? Unless she wants to go run a 10K. Mate, she might 10K marathon double, though.
Just double checking her age.
She said herself, her favourite session of the week's a 35K drilled long run with the guys. Yeah. So I'm sure she's in pretty good nick.
Yeah, 31 years old. Be 33, 34 in LA. She could literally do a Kipchoge, have a 6-year undefeated period on the roads. Anyway, we're speculating the women's 1500 is extreme. Women's 3000, 1500 is a good field. Women's 3000 is once again very strong. Jess Hull goes in that, and the lady we're just talking about, Kip Yegon, will be in the 3000. Season records. Eloise
We're
Walker and
expecting a
Alex
bit of a
Millard
procession there, aren't we?
are surely pacing. Yeah. So, and yeah, you've got a load of Ethiopian to Granite Day in there as well. So, but I think it's going to be a Holland Kipyegon fest. Now, women's 3000 and the women's 8, we're going to see the comeback of Keely Hodgkinson. What can she do? The field is a strongish field. Like you've got Bissett in there, but she hasn't been running very well. Hasn't even broken 201 this year. Abby Caldwell, 159 high this year. You know, you've got Slovakian Gianova, 158 mid. Hollingsworth's running okay this year, 158.0. So Keely's got some good athletes in there, and the Botswanan who's run 157.4.
It's a nice opener, though, isn't it? I think we've been saying all year, there's no way for Keely to have a nice opener. I think she's managed to find one, so fair play, because it's at the Diamond League, but it's not a Diamond League event, which I think is why the field's not quite as strong. Georgia Bell tactically opting for the 1500 at this one. And so, yeah, I think for an Olympic champion, for the best in the world, there's not a nicer comeback race than this one, I don't think. So we expect her to win it. I think it will be looking at how she wins it and how she looks doing it that will be the telling signs. And then we expect her to line up against Georgia Bell the week after, right, in Lausanne.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think it doesn't matter how she looks. It's her first race in over 12 months. And since that Olympics final, it doesn't really matter how she looks and how she feels. I think it's just a case of, can she hit a win? Can she run an all right, can she run a strong 157, something like that, 158? And I think that'll be enough. There's enough time. There's 5 weeks until the World Championships. And if she's running 157, 158 now, in that 5 weeks, she could easily level up to 156. 155 even high, which is probably what it's going to take. And yeah, mate, I think that's it. Did we mention the BMC? Cameron Boyd going 3?
No, we did not. We didn't mention the Europeans either. Obviously, Innis with that nice 3K, 5K double. So some good results for Brits all around.
Lucy Armitage, 2 flat. And the women's 800, I mean, that's a huge PB to win that A race as well. So yeah, the BMC was very strong. Yeah, you mentioned Innis. Will Rabjohn's getting that DQ. Watch that back. Was a great race. It was a DQ. He stepped all over the inside and worked his way through a gap that wasn't there, unfortunately. Yeah, the Spaniards weren't a happy boy with him. But otherwise, Britain would have got 1, 2, 3. Rabjohn's, Murphy and Waterworth. Murphy got the win in the end, and Waterworth in second. So in that men's 8. Lila Belshaw on the women's 15. It's just, yeah, Britain have done what Britain do at the European Juniors, which is just
clean up.
Yeah,
absolutely. But
exactly.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up this episode. Obviously, well done to all the Brits. Best of luck to those still chasing standards. Mate, we can just sit back and enjoy the next couple of weeks, right? Watching people chase times and seeing what that team's gonna finally shape up to look like. But it's looking strong as ever. And then, of course, we're looking forward to Tokyo, just under a month now, till things kick off at the World Champs. Thanks very much for listening to us. We'll catch you guys very, very soon.